That's the whole point.
1,000 siphoned off. That
No,
finding
I'm
is not
sorry.
even in question.
I am sorry. I am sorry. That is exactly the point. He himself says at 483, 683, the report does not constitute an engagement to provide audit.
Mr. Sibal, you have an opportunity, go and raise all these issues.
Wait a minute.
The showcase notices have been upheld by the Reserve Bank.
But there's a declaration, Malad. In all three, there's a declaration now.
Declaration, whatever you.
Malad, the declaration itself is, Malad, that I'm a fraudulent, it's a fraudulent account, Malad. In fact, Malad, kindly just look at page 653. Volume 2, the report does not constitute an engagement to provide audit.
Institutions have been duped by.
No, Malad, that's not correct. Malad, this company is under NCLT. Malad, the resolution professional.
That happens unfortunately.
But Malad, the resolution professional can't defend the company. Malad, he doesn't have any understanding of what the audit is.
Resolution professional may or may not, but you have against these notices, you have your own regular remedy available.
No, I don't, Malad. I don't have the records. I have nothing, Malad. There were no remedies available. Malad, kindly, I'll
the
take your
notices
lordship.
and
I'll take
failed
your-
on writ petition.
I'll take your lordship's, Malad, through the record. Kindly have a look. Just give the note, Malad.
Notices with
Give the
challenge,
notes.
then he failed.
He has appeared, he has been declared a fraud.
No, but I'm not disputing that that's what I'm challenging. That's what I'm challenging, Manoj.
Yeah.
Manoj, kindly see both the 2016 Your Lordship has the first point. Both the 2016 Master Circular as well as the 24 Master Circular required the audit to be conducted by a person who is qualified auditor under the relevant statute. In this context, kindly see clause 4.1, Malaj, which your lordships will find at page 203.
Let us see the finding of the division bench on this point.
Yes, the division bench says the 2000 circular applies, you don't need an audit.
No.
No, that's not correct.
Yes, I'll show you. Kindly see that.
Let us see.
You don't need to have an auditor at all. That's the division bench judgment. Your lordship wants the finding first. I want to show you the 4.1.
All right, you can show four.
Yes, kindly see the page 203. Yes. Well, it's 4.1.
Is 24 to 2024.
Lordship has that? 203.
Yes.
4.1. In the case of a credit facility, loan account classified as red flagged account, banks shall use an external audit. And note Muller's note 14 at the bottom, footnote 14. Auditors who are qualified to conduct audit under the relevant statutes, which is under the Chartered Accountants Act, Muller. So they have to be registered there.
No.
Or an internal audit as per their board approved policy for further investigation into such accounts.
All statements.
Right? Then 4.1.2. The loan agreement, I'm sorry, at 204.
Yes.
The loan agreement with the borrower shall contain clauses for conduct of such audit at the behest of lenders consequent upon red flagging of the account. In cases where the audit report submitted remains inconclusive or is delayed due to non-cooperation by the borrower, banks shall conclude on the status of the account as a fraud or otherwise based on the material available on record. The bank says it has no other material available on record except the BDO's report. That's the finding, Malaj. Now, Malaj, kindly have then page 1.
Again, wrong.
Yes. 196, Malaj. Kindly have a look at that. Yeah, I'm just showing, Malaj, that's where it begins.
Page
196.
Yes.
That's the master circular begins at page 196, Malaj. And it's under 35 of the Banking Regulation Act. This is the 2024 circular. So, Malaj, there's no doubt about it. Show cause noticed in issue notice in 2024, Malaj. Decision taken in 2025, Malaj. Right? So this is one part. Then kindly have to see, Malaj, come back to my notes, Malaz. Under 141, Malaz, there was a footnote 14, that is under the Companies Act. So under 141 of the Companies Act, a person would be eligible for appointed as an auditor only if he was chartered accountant. He's not a chartered accountant, Malaz, he admits it. So, Malaz, and then section 2B of the Chartered Accountants Act states a chartered accountant is a...
That your main case is still pending. It's a question of injunction only.
I'm
That
sorry.
has been declined. Your all matters are still pending. All these arguments.
But
are-
Malaz, I've been declared a fraud, Malaz, fraudulent account. That amounts to civil death, Malaz.
So.
That amounts to civil debt.
Hundreds of rupees have been due.
I'm sorry?
It's a case of siphoning and bungling of ordinary.
Malaz, that I am not, Malaz, on siphoning and bubbling is being investigated by the agencies. I don't want to stay on that. But Malaz, the point is that,
Other concern is also that we can't really express any opinion because we don't want any prejudice to the sides.
but Malaz, an interim order can't be reversed in this fashion when there's a jurisdictional issue, Malaz.
Kind of.
There's a jurisdictional issue. How can a person who says he's only a forensic service provider, Malaz, he himself says that I am only a forensic service provider, I am not an auditor. And he himself says that this is inconclusive, I have not come to any conclusion. I just show that to your lordships, Malaz. If your lordship, yes. Kindly. Yes.
All written employment.
Kindly see his own affidavit, 1419, volume 5. His own affidavit. One 419. Malaz, nobody will lend to him. Malaz, this amounts to civil death, Malaz. And your lordships have said interim orders should not be interfered with unless they are totally perverse.
Cases are of siphoning of funds.
Malaz, I don't,
Shell company, fake company.
Malaz,
If the declaration.
let
of-
that investigation go on, Malaz. I am not saying, Malaz, with the greatest respect, I am not saying that investigation should not go on. That investigation should go on. But in the meantime,
Mr. Sibal, where is the question of investigation?
no, Malaz, that's ED and CBI, Malaz, let them go on. I'm not seeking any stay of those. They will find out whether there is any siphoning or not. But there is no siphoning, Malaz. Only an auditor will determine whether there is siphoning or not.
Your own.
He
case
says,
is-
I'm not even following the standards. I'll show
First
that.
of all, your case in the civil suit
Malaz,
itself,
kindly have a look at, I'm sorry.
your case in the civil suit is only of show cause notice. Everywhere you are challenging SCL. A show cause notice, you have a right to represent against that. First of all, you go and represent against that.
Malaz, that's the other problem.
Yeah.
In an NCLT company, how do I represent? All the records are with the company. And Malaz, the resolution professional has no understanding of the transactions.
If you are feeling aggrieved, you are right, you can submit your representation.
How will I make the representation without the records?
Oh, because
Malaz, kindly see, I don't have the records. Now they're with the company.
where
Malaz,
did you
apart
apply?
from that,
Where did you apply, to whom you applied?
yes, in my reply to the show cause notice, I said that I don't have the records. How do I represent?
Which record you wanted and who has denied you that record, access to record?
Malaz, the resolution professional will not part with any records. Your lordship knows that, Malaz.
We-
Now, Malaz, kindly see at page
Okay.
653, for a minute, Malaz.
Yes.
653, volume 2, Malaz. Malaz, this is very important, Malaz. Otherwise, this pounds to great injustice.
198 subsidiaries.
Yes, 653, Malaz. We were not even called upon, Malaz. Kindly see.
Yes.
It says, kindly see the last but one comment, Malaz. Disclaimer, page 653 of volume.
All
Two.
forensic reports have disclaimers, my lord.
One.
All. Worldwide.
As it is, there's an uphill task for me. Why do you want to encourage that?
Yes.
No,
Allow
factually,
me
I'm
to make
correcting
my
the-
submissions, please. Well, last but one note. The report does not constitute an engagement to provide audits. So how do you decide on siphoning? Compilation, review, or attestation services.
So let's not read line in isolation. Please see.
I'm reading, Malaz, just kindly read further.
First, see on the top itself, during our review, we received photocopies, scanned copies of certain documents from banks and management as proof of transactions.
Yes, yes,
We have
yes.
relied upon the same.
Yes, yes. But he has no expertise as an auditor, Malas. How will he determine? If he is not an auditor, how will he audit the accounts? Their own letter says. I'll show that later. Kindly first let me read this. The report does not constitute an engagement to provide audit, compilation, review, or attestation services made in accordance with the generally accepted auditor standards in India.
If your suit is decreed, all actions will be declared
But
null.
Malas, the suit will take 10 years. In the meantime, there'll be civil death, Malas.
So I've gone to the court, even at the stage of only SCN, go and represent against.
No,
them.
no, Malas. I've been declared a fraudulent account already. There's no question of SCN, Malas.
Has to be, because otherwise to prevent the further frauds in the.
Malas, 2nd of September 2025, I've been declared fraudulent. Malas, how do I go?
Mr. Sibal,
Yes.
you please tell us what is the allegation against you?
The allegation has to
Against
be.
your company.
All right, Malas, I'll just pause. Let's go back. Malas, an allegation has to be based on an audit of the accounts.
Oh, you are again only on the ground
But
of.
Malas, that's the jurisdictional issue, Malas. What else will I do? Malas, only an auditor can determine whether there is any siphoning or not.
Yes.
What else? How else will it be determined? The banks on their own cannot, Malas. The lawyer himself says there's no conclusion of fraud, Malas, of the BDO. Malas, this is Malas very unfortunate. Malas, kindly have a look at the letter of the BDO itself. Just hold, give it. Well, just see that, Malas.
On the report,
Malas, just see. He himself is saying.
Taxpayer hard-earned money that has been.
That is your,
Those
Malas,
which
I'm not, Malas, if it's hard-earned money, I'll be prosecuted. If it's hard-earned money, everything will be over, Malas. That's not the issue. Issue here is how do you proceed on the basis of a report where the auditor has not
Why
even
don't you
audited.
take good of the losses? We will close all the proceedings.
I'm sorry?
If you make good losses of all these banks and so many financial institutions.
Well, I'm not saying whether the losses have been made or not, or kindly see paragraph J, Malas.
Yes.
J, last 3 lines. Our client, for lordship, our client has not commented in its report on any issues such as breach, criminal breach of trust, or commission of any offences or unlawful gains. Our client's report does not contain any conclusion as to fraud as defined in the RBI circular. This is their own report, Malas. So, Malas, if despite all this, Malas, why should the single judge's order be, Malas, upturned? And the fraud classification order, the only evidence is the BDO report. That's at page 1072, Malas.
And the two classifications have happened pursuant to the vacation of the DD order.
2 classifications have happened pursuant to the vacation of the DB order, Malas.
That's correct.
So, Malas, we are stuck then, Malas. What do?
We have no representation.
We have no representation.
The court has considered the aspect of injunction on the well-settled 3 parameters. The court has found that you don't have even a prima facie case for granting.
No, Malas, let me now go to the division bench judgment.
Elaborately.
Let's go to the division bench. Court says I rely on the 2014 circular,
Yes.
and the 2014 circular doesn't require an auditor. That's what the court is saying.
Yes,
That's the only basis.
No, that's not the.
Yes, kindly see, Malas. Kindly see page 36.
Please come to page, yes, page.
What, your lordship want me to go to another page?
You please tell which
Page
page.
36, Malas.
36.
Yes. Malas, last line. Every violation, I'm sorry, Malas, may I? Page 36.
Yes.
Every violation of the master directions shall not be amenable to judicial scrutiny.
Page?
Page 36, Malas.
Para?
Para 30,
About
para 32, Malas, at page 36, last line.
That is page 35.
Oh, I'm sorry, Malas. It's,
Every violation of the master direction shall not be amenable to judicial scrutiny.
Yes.
That's right.
how can that be?
That may be correct,
How can it be, Malas?
unless you will make out a case of causing.
But that's what I'm saying, that it requires an auditor is the case, Malas. The case is what? That you cannot have a person who is a forensic service provider. He himself says, I'm not an auditor. You cannot, on the basis of this, his findings, declare me and classify me as a fraudulent account.
But I'm sorry, he is a recognized auditor or recognized by SEBI.
No, no, no,
recognized
no,
by Indian
Mother,
Banks Association, and he is an internationally acclaimed forensic auditor.
For God's sake.
Only objection in the plaint is
1 second.
the signatory to the
Show-
audit
show-
is not a member of Chartered Accountants Institute.
Show where he's an auditor. Show where he's an auditor. He's not an auditor. He's not a CA. He's not a chartered accountant, Mulad. How can he be an auditor?
And findings are not in question. That's what the finding recorded.
No, how can
That
the
is
find?
finding that there is a
He himself is
diversion
saying,
of funds.
he himself
It's
is,
not in question.
he is himself saying, Mulad. He himself is saying that I cannot come to any conclusion. I cannot come to a conclusion of fraud. I am not a chartered accountant. I'm not an auditor. So, Mulad, how then will we proceed?
It's come to a conclusion of diversion of funds.
Yes.
But Mulad, that's an allegation. No, Mulad, only the,
Where is the denial?
He says
And allegation is not
that
4, 5, 7 times
our
this.
client
Mulad, I know that.
No,
Mulad.
page 44, para 40.
That is true. I'm not disputing. That's the allegation. But Mulad, that must be substantiated through the purposeful audit.
There are such a serious allegation of siphoning of thousands of crores of rupees. What the courts have the moral authority?
Mulad, why can't a chartered accountant be appointed to look at it and find out? I'll be subject to that. There is no issue. But at least let the chartered accountant do it. I'm not asking for stay over.
There is
Well, that's-
a procedural flaw which will render the proceedings completely fatal, that you have a right, your suit is pending. You can prove the evidence will be led, yes, that because of that severe prejudice has been caused to you.
But
But now that you have picked up a technical point, we do not know, ultimately onus will be on you to prove that because of this technicality, a serious prejudice has been caused to you.
But Maharaj, this is what I'm trying to show to your lordships, Maharaj,
Not
that
in this case.
admittedly,
That you will have to show in the suit.
Maharaj, he says, I am not following any standards, any accountancy standards. So Maharaj, if he's not following any accountancy standards, then Maharaj, how is this to be determined?
there are two difficulties so far as your
Yeah,
suit is
yes,
concerned.
yes. Maharaj.
It is preceded by a writ petition
Yes.
challenging the same show cause notice.
I had to
where the
withdraw because he said you should file a suit. You can't decide these matters.
petition was withdrawn, and there the forensic report was not called into question. The pleadings in the writ petition does not call into question the forensic report. Your pleading was, your arguments in the suit and the pleadings is, we were only given the report, we did not
Yes.
know the contents or the signatories.
Yeah.
On better and further evidence, you have made out a case with regard to the forensic report.
Yes,
In the event you feel that the forensic report does not conform to 4.1,
yes.
you can always pick out an application or even make a prayer before the bank concern to have an audit in terms of clause 4.1.
Yes.
No, no,
At least give me that liberty, Maharaj.
That was, my lord, with profound
second.
respect, not a correct statement of fact.
But just see, Maharaj, page
4.4.
1176.
Will have to be read with 2016 circular.
I am coming to, I am
Which is
coming.
also in existence.
Mr. Solicitor, that would be your defense.
Yes.
Correct, my
In
lord.
in the event, Mr. Sibal's client seeks to take such a course.
Whatever
Maharaj,
course is
Maharaj.
available, he may, my lord,
One
take.
second.
The thing is, there are two things which is weighed with the division bench.
Yeah.
One is what we indicated. It was a 2021 report made available to you.
In
You
2020, later.
21.
Show cause notice is 2024.
Focus notice is 2024, but
Yes, your
2021
lordships are
were made available the report.
Yeah. No, no, no.
Paragraph 30.
No, no, that's incorrect. That's not correct. It's after show. cause
5
notice.
years he did not.
Hold on.
challenge.
Please don't. I am answering the question of the court. Could you
Mr.
please
Sibal.
refrain from interfering?
We feel very
It's only a
left out
request. So-
when
No,
both
no,
of
I'm
you
just-
talk amongst each other.
Requesting you to
It's
be
not fair, Maharaj. I don't know.
We feel left out
Maharaj, I am feeling left out here, Maharaj.
in the dialogue between the court and the
Your
council.
lordships are right, my
In
lord.
the
I
dialogue
don't know why my learned friend, Maharaj.
councils, the court feels left out.
My lord, some.
So, Maharaj, your lordship, answer to your question.
Incorrect.
In answer to your question, its answer to your question, report was given late.
Paragraph 38, page 41, if it is not a factual incorrect recording, it says that the case of the respondent revolves around forensic report which was made available way back in 2021.
It's incorrect. Incorrect. It's wrong. Made was available after the show cause notice was issued. Page 270, Malaj.
And then you come to paragraph 40.
So just on that point, Malaj, at page 270
Then you
report.
come to paragraph 49, page 51.
Yes.
Show cause was already challenged in a writ petition of 3037 of 25, the show cause notice, and then it was withdrawn. Now,
Correct,
this
because, Malaj, I'm
writ
saying-
petition, in this writ petition, even if we accept that it was not 2021, but later on,
Yes.
with the show cause notice, in this writ petition, there was no challenge to the authenticity of the forensic report.
Correct.
There were other
Malaj, what
issues,
had happened was we had filed,
and that is what the judge records as constructive res judicata.
I'll tell your lordship what happened. I must explain that. We filed an RTI application
Not you,
in
some
October.
Unknown lady.
One second.
Some unknown lady.
Not unloaded, she's my counsel. What are you saying? I put an affidavit. We filed an RTI application.
We
In
have read
reply
that.
to that
We have-
application,
we
we
have
learned
read-
that he is not an
We
auditor.
have read, Mr. Sibal, about the reasons why you have brought these additional facts
Yes,
on record. Now,
yes,
there the court goes into clause 8.8.2.
yes.
Clauses 8.8.2 of the 2016 circular. and
Yes, I'm coming to that. I'll come to that.
4.1.2
let's
as
read that.
to interpret
Yes,
is not applicable. There were certain materials by a forensic expert
yes.
who gives rise to a reasonable belief
Right.
of
Correct, correct.
alleged fraud.
Right.
Now, if you see the report
Yeah.
and the letter
Yeah,
of that concerned expert, and the expert says, we would like to again make it clear that our client's report deals with the flow of funds and their designated end use.
correct.
It reports on whether or not such funds have been diverted, used, appropriated for purposes other than those stated.
Correct.
Now, if that is a report contrary to the about purpose for which the funds have been given to a particular constituent or a customer of a
Correct.
bank,
Correct.
and the bank has issued a show cause notice,
Yes.
how can we say that it's
No, I'm only saying, Malaj, that
only without?
whether the funds were not used for a particular purpose and they were diverted to
something
some other
like,
companies is
for
something that the chartered accountant will decide. That chartered accountant itself will decide.
Expert says that they have decided or looked into it.
Malaj, there-
Now, would you say that it's so grossly deviant with the entire 2016 or?
Yes, Malaj, with the respect, Malaj, kindly say, look at 8.8.2, Malaj, which my lord was looking at. Page 102.
An incomplete data.
And it's all, data itself is incomplete, Malaj. That also I'll show to your lordship.
Second ground.
There is a finding of diversion of funds, Mr. Singh.
Which is not
But that's
challenged.
potential,
It's a finding.
potential, not a finding,
Challenge
potential diversion.
That finding.
It's not a finding, Malaj. It's potential
related
diversion of
finding.
funds.
For page
But
44, para 40.
Malaj,
After all, a discretionary equitable review.
but Malaj, your lordships have said if an interim order is passed by a single judge, unless it's perverse, Malaj, it will not be interfered with.
This is where the perversity lies. Learned single judge has put form over substance.
But Malaj, even the 8.8.2 requires an auditor. Yes, kindly have a look at
Expert
102.
will do.
No, kindly have a look at 102. I'm sorry, Malaj.
He's under.
Maybe I'm wrong, but 102.
Diversion for finding.
Potential.
Potential, it's potential. We'll report from the report, 631.
There's no conclusion of law.
Well, there is no conclusion of fraud at 631, your lordships, which they were potentially utilized. There's no finding. Therefore, Malaj, there's something to be heard, Malaj. If there were a finding, I can understand. Because he's not an auditor, he can't determine finally. Please appreciate that. And kindly have a look at 8.8.2, Malaj. The bank may use external auditors.
Yes.
So therefore, he has to be an auditor.
Including forensic expert.
No, including.
Or even internal team.
I'm not saying, Malaj, including. It doesn't mean that a forensic service provider will not be an auditor. That's the question of interpretation, Malaj. The learned division bench says, no, 2024 doesn't apply.
Before single judge, you never argued that because of that prejudice is caused, or that he was
We argued.
impartial, he was not impartial. That is not your page 41, the division bench noted.
No.
Yeah.
We've argued this, Malaj. We've argued this. Your lordships want, I can demonstrate that, your lordship.
When a 41
And-
recorded,
It's judges, single judges in our favor, Malas, on this issue. We've argued it. How can it not be when the single judge is on my in my favor and I haven't argued it?
was not argued before him.
But Malas, if the single judge's finding is in my favor, Malas, how could I not be arguing?
That's why
That is on conflict, Malas, that I did not argue. Nothing else, only on conflict. There is no conflict here, Malas.
Paragraph 41
There is
says
no
it was
conflict
not
here.
argued.
Kindly see.
I found
And-
it and the plaintiff
Well, at least-
rewritten, that is division bench finding.
So that was an issue that he found the basis of his record.
Page 1934. Therefore, in view of the above, it is preposterous to accept the argument of banks that an external auditor not having a chartered accountant could be validly appointed. And then another 2016 circular. The consequences of allowing the banks to proceed further in declaring the plaintiff and directors of 3 companies as fraud are already discussed here and above. They are virtually drastic and lead to disastrous consequences like being blacklisted, barred from new bank loans, credit for years, criminal, all that is fine. But something has to be said, Malad.
Why the-
And the contradiction is